Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Elliot Brown here in the Essex Business Radio studio again for another one of these compelling, exciting, informative shows, C-19, How We Deal With It, where I'm chatting to people absolutely everywhere and knocking my mic, about how this the recent change, the impact of the virus, the pandemic, whatever we want to call it, has given people the ability to pivot and change in their personal and business lives. I'm really messing the beginning of this up, but I'm going to carry on anyway. What we're also doing is finding out what people have got as advice and tips and ideas for you guys out there in your personal and business life. And today, joining me from Manchester is Janine Mitchell of Change for Success. How you doing, Janine?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. It's sunny.
Good.
It's sunny again. We're having loads of sunny days at the moment. The lockdown is good for weather.
We never get sun in Manchester, and it's literally not stopped being sunny, so it's great.
Yeah. Long continued lockdown. Well, maybe not, but if it's going to give us good weather, I'm good with it.
Yeah, no, it's been really nice here actually. I've been doing a bit of work in the garden, which has been lovely, and the air's a lot clearer as well. I've found out, so because we get a lot of traffic over here, so yeah, it's been nice in that respect.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We've had loads of butterflies around. I mean, I don't think that's a normal thing with pollution. So we've got to be doing some good for the planet with this lockdown as well, eh?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So tell me a bit about Change for Success. Tell me what you do, Janine, and everybody else that's listening and watching, of course.
Okay, well, thanks for having me on, first of all. So, my company's Change for Success. I'm a qualified hypnotherapist, NLP and EFT practitioner, and I'm a wellbeing and mental health specialist. So I work with private clients, individuals at my private consulting rooms in Manchester, which I'm not doing that part of the moment. We'll explain that in a bit. Yeah. And I also got a lovely space there, which is gathering dust at the moment. I also go into organisations. I work with organisations and companies delivering stress management and wellbeing workshops, wellbeing and resilience workshops. So I help people understand how we can be, more resilient, how we can manage our mental health, and that, of course, at the moment for me is more important than ever, really, given what we're dealing with at the moment. So that's me.
Absolutely. So it's gathering dust right now. So you're obviously still working with people. I mean, there's I've mentioned the word prevalent quite a few times in these podcasts, but you're going to be working with lots of people on that side, the stress levels and mindset and well-being. Obviously, you're utilizing channels like this and platforms like this for talking to your clients.
Yeah, I mean, things have changed. I think the kind of word that I've heard bandied around a lot is diversify. Diversify your business.
Pivot is what the Americans use. And I like pivot. Yeah.
Never heard the word pivot up until like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the word I've heard a lot, and it's true. We've really got to diversify. And prior to this, obviously, I was seeing clients face to face. I was working with clients online as well, but in the main, I do enjoy that face to face interaction.
Of course.
And of course, working with organisations as well, and going into companies and corporates and delivering that training on a personal level. So to kind of have this, to diversify, it is a challenge for me, and a challenge of kind of spending a lot of time on my own at home. As I say, I worked a lot from home anyway before, so I am kind of quite used to that. I know a lot of people are struggling with that. So, it's just about making changes as you can, and not kind of, not beating yourself up too much about the changes, because there are obviously a lot around at the moment. And it's just, I think for me, it's just taking one day at a time. But yeah, that diversify is a word that I've been using a lot in terms of how I've been, moving my business forward, really.
So what have been the biggest issues, do you think, the sort of top issues with clients, or potentially new clients that I would have thought that are coming to you as well? What are the sort of main things that have been brought up as being the biggest issues that people are coping with right now?
Well, as I said before, a lot of the time clients do want to see you face to face.
Okay.
I think because things are changing so much, I believe this will be the new world moving forward. As I said,
of course, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
We've noticed quite a big difference, haven't we? Like you were saying, different things with your business as well. Yeah. And I think it is going to make bigger changes kind of moving forward. But I think it's almost people getting used to this type of contact, if that makes sense. So for me, as a therapist, working with someone who maybe suffered with anxiety or clinical depression for a long time, for them to make the initial contact and to actually see me for the first session is a massive step.
Of course.
And once they've done that, you know, they can kind of move forward, and sessions that, you know, I ensure, you know, the client feels really comfortable in sessions. That's really, really important, and, you know, non-judgmental and that kind of thing. So for clients then to have to change and then see me online, that can be quite difficult. So I have noticed that, being honest, I've noticed a drop in clients because people do a lot of the time prefer to see you in person, because of those initial anxieties about having to meet face to face.
Yeah. That's it's I mean, it's interesting. I spoke to a lady yesterday, and she does speaker training and stuff like that as well, and obviously there's a lot of confidence with that. So he's talking about interviews and interviewees and interviewers as well, and dealing with it in this way, in a weird way, very similar, because you've got to, you know, this is becoming, as you said, the new normal for conversing with people, whether it be interviewing or whether it be just talking to somebody, you know, or approaching somebody to get some help, some mental health help as well. How do you see that is going to change? How are you going to get through that barrier where somebody's like worried about speaking, whereas they may have found it easier to go out and actually walk through that door and have that big impact change rather than sit at home and try and deal with it there? That's got to be, you know, that's got to be a difficult thing to deal with, right?
Yeah, I think it's twofold, really. First of all, more and more, obviously during this time, people like me are working with people online. That's the only way we can work with private clients, for example. I'll talk about the other stuff in a minute. So first of all, it's about, I suppose, kind of, once more people are kind of used to that and seeing that works as effectively, it's then about other people, because a lot of my business is referral based, so someone will come to me and then they'll recommend me to someone else and that kind of thing. So I think it's about a lot more people doing that and being comfortable with that, and then seeing how that works for them, really, as well. And also the second part of that, because we are doing everything online now, it's going to become the new normal. Whereas a few weeks ago someone would have preferred to see you in person, this has become the new normal. So it's kind of, it doesn't feel as scary, if that makes sense. So people are becoming more used to this. Like, no one had, I mean, I've been using Zoom for a long time, but no one has, hardly anyone except in the business world, has heard of Zoom, have they?
Of course. No, definitely not.
A few weeks ago, and now everyone knows about it. You're teaching, you know, your grandma how to use it and all that kind of thing. So it's becoming more normal. And I think, even though this is only going to be for obviously a limited period, hopefully. Crossed. It's gonna create, I think, more of a lasting change moving forward, isn't it? In many areas, not only kind of the online work, but a lot of other things as well. We don't know yet. I think so much is changing day by day, isn't it? You know, I'll be working with clients at the moment, weekly clients, and I'll be checking in with this week, and so much has changed from this week compared to last week and the week before. Like, it's changing at a massive rate, a massive pace. So I think we're just having to literally see how it goes, kind of week by week, day by day, aren't we? Because things are changing so quickly, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think you're absolutely right in what you're saying. You know, those first few weeks, the first month, or, you know, I keep classing this as phase 2 of the lockdown. Some people are calling it extension, whatever. The first month, as you said, that was quite an impact. That was quite a change. And I've seen the podcast starting to change a little bit over the last sort of week. As you say, this has become the new normal now. Whereas before it was an impact, it was a big change, and it was like, you've got to cope with it. But as you quite rightly say, I think the mental health side of things, once people realize and sort of settle into the fact that this is maybe a new normal, it may be easier to then get back in touch with people and start working with people again, sort of remotely.
Yeah, I think so. And the other kind of part of the mental health side of things as well is, I think we do adapt. We are kind of, you know, as human beings, we're very adaptable kind of creatures. You know, we're creatures of habit. We get into a routine, but we do adapt actually a lot more easily than we realise. But at the same time, when we're trying to adapt, it is going to have a huge impact on mental health, because there's all reasons, isn't there? There's isolation.
Oh, loads. Yeah.
There's uncertainty. You know, even people who, as I said before, because I've run my business, you know, I work from home quite a bit, I'm kind of used to that. But I've even spoke to people who have gone from an office environment suddenly having to work from home,
Yeah.
literally a day or two, feel quite anxious.
Mm.
You know, all this stuff's going on that they're not kind of used to, and they've been feeling that after a day or two.
Mm.
You know, so it's this massive impact that it's going to have on mental health, and it's not just kind of struggling with anxieties and overwhelm and uncertainties, but there's the whole thing of obviously juggling family and homeschooling kids, and
Oh yeah, the whole
you know,
lot.
and then trying to do your work, and there's so many different things going on. It's going to have such a huge impact, not only now but kind of moving forward. So I think people have to really kind of be mindful of their mental health and look after it, you know, day by day, really, and implement strategies that they might not have implemented before.
Yeah.
You know, to manage that they might not have even thought about, because the way I look at it, we've all got mental health like we've got physical health. You know, you need to look after it. And, you know, if my tyres wear out on my car, I'll go and get some new tyres. I wouldn't just leave them until I have an accident. You know, you've
Yeah.
really got to look after this, I think, as you go.
Yeah.
And that, you know, there's so many strategies that you can use to do that. But people have got to be really mindful about that. Otherwise, you just get to a point where you're just going to crash.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really important, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Before we started recording, we were talking about change, and this is definitely there's a big shift, there's a big change right now, and we will continue to be changing for quite a long time to come. As you said, you know, week on week it's changing. A big thing that you like to work with, of course, change. So, what did you say to me before we started recording?
I said we don't like change. We really struggle with change, and that's why, because our conscious mind only makes up around 5% of who we are. Our subconscious mind creates around 95%, and our subconscious mind likes to keep us in it's full of habits, it's full of programs. You know, we kind of get up at the same time every day, we go to work at the same time, we get in the same car, we do the same thing, we rush to get home, so we're repeating the same stuff over and over and over again,
Right.
because it's the familiar, it's the known, you know. So, and we do often struggle to change because that's what we know, if that makes sense, because
we're comfortable there.
Yeah, we're comfortable, and when we're in any kind of uncertainty, that's where, you know, the issues come with change. It's one of our greatest fears, change, to be honest. It might not feel like at a conscious level where our 5% is, but subconsciously we don't like change.
Yeah, but where there's change, there's opportunity, there's development, you know, is the way I see it.
Yeah, and it's about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, isn't it? I think once you do, it's thinking, oh, I don't want to push myself out of my comfort zone because I like wearing my little comfy slippers.
Yeah.
But once you actually push yourself out of that comfort zone and do something you wouldn't have done, like diversify and work online, which you wouldn't have done in a million years.
Yeah.
Or stand up and talk in front of some people. Once you actually do that, it can feel really anxious. But once you've done it, you think, you know what, that wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, definitely. Well, I'm going to be pushing the boat out shortly with myself, because I'm going to be doing podcasts about me, which makes me very nervous. But and I've spoken about this on a couple of lives I've done, so that's going to be interesting. It's something I haven't done yet, and I think it's necessary. But yeah, anyway, that's by the by. But yeah, so that's that. You know, the reason I'm saying that is because that's a change. I love talking to other people. I learn huge amounts, and I've already learned a lot from you today already. But I learn huge amounts from other people, their experiences and things like that. And you can learn a huge amount from other people. I think that's where there's a lot to be learned. It's wise to learn from other people's mistakes and their advice. But yeah, so my change is that I'm definitely going to be putting myself out there a little bit more. And you do that anyway. I mean, from what you do, you work from home, and you're used to, in essence, I suppose, a bit of a isolation type lifestyle when you run your business from home, right?
I am, but I'm not used to not seeing friends, going out. I'm a bit of a social butterfly. I like to be out and about. So not doing all that, for me, that's a real struggle. So it's about how you manage that, because usually when you've got this balance, and then that, it's just all taken away from you, isn't it? You know, so it's about how you manage that as well, really. And that's certainly important to me. So it's a difficult one for a lot of people, isn't it? I think something you could just take for granted before, now you can't do. It's how you kind of, what you do differently. And I was talking in a networking group last week about the importance of managing social contact, and it is about even just picking up the phone. You know, I know it's obvious stuff, but just sending a message or picking up the phone or getting in contact with someone. I know a lot of people, as I say, are on Zoom and they're on FaceTime, and they're using that more than ever. I was out, there's a place where I go down here just to walk the dog, and I'm out there, you know, been going out there over the weekends, last 7 or 8 years. I've never seen it so busy. It was absolutely rammed full of people walking and bikes, people out with families. But it's great, because I'm again, when I did this talk last week, I was kind of saying it's so important that you take that exercise every single day. You get outside, you get some fresh air, and people are doing that. I think it's just bringing families together like that. People are going out, they're all out on the bikes, and I've never ever seen it that busy. It was really, really busy. So
I hope there was social distancing at the same time. Yeah,
they were all, trying to get out of people's way. Of course.
Don't you think that's a strange dynamic now, isn't it? People are actually. Oh, I don't know what it's like in Manchester, but definitely finding. And you don't get this a lot in London, but, or down south so much, where people sort of nod when they walk on the other side of the road and say hello. I'm always one for saying hello to people if they walk past me, but you don't get eye contact. There is this sort of community type feel going on through this. And I don't know, again, what it's like in Manchester. Where people are
it's really miserable in Manchester. It's miserable. No,
is it? No, it's not.
No, it's good. No, it's nice.
But people are acknowledging one another. They may be. When you walk past, you may be stepping away, but you're almost acknowledging people at the same time, which is isn't that a weird byproduct of what's going on? Are you finding that there, or although it was busy, were people sort of acknowledging and?
Yeah, and I was only talking to a client about this last week. I think this will create more community.
It is doing.
Prior to this, what kind of community did we have really? Like everyone, you go, if I go anywhere, if I kind of go into town on the tram or anything, people are just continually just on their phones, staring at their phones.
Yeah.
This, I think, has allowed people. I know we're, the only way to keep contact with people is, who you're not kind of living with is to kind of pick up the phone or FaceTime. But I think it is bringing back this sense of community, which has been lost, hasn't it? It's been lost, unfortunately, due to social media, due to all that kind of thing. So, and I think that will be one of the things that we'll learn from this, and it'll be one of the things that will. And I do believe this is here for a reason. I'm not too sure yet. I believe it's definitely doing a lot for the planet. The air is a lot clearer around here, as you can imagine. The air in Manchester is, there's a lot of traffic pollution, like there is, in London, everywhere else.
Yeah.
So, and so much is changing with the world already. But yeah, I do believe it will bring communities closer together, and you can see that changing, even kind of week by week, can't you? And I think that's really, really important,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I read a book last year about kind of, how to achieve happiness, areas of happiness, and one of the areas this guy talks about, it's key, it's creating community. And that's what creates, Copenhagen, I think in this research they've done, it's one of the happiest kind of communities, and that's why, because they have such a strong sense of community there. So I think that's going to be really one of the important lessons that we'll learn from this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's one of the big things that's been lacking in the UK, north, south, wherever we are. English, we're not, we don't necessarily have that community thing. We might all go out drinking and stuff like that, but you don't really have that community unless you are on the scene, so to speak, in a city or a town where you're out all the time. You have that community, but otherwise, it's very disjointed. I find over here, you tend to get more of community in other countries and things like that. I found anyway over the years. And from doing the podcast that I've done and the conversations I've had everywhere, I've created a community of people, and my network's grown better genuinely than if I'd done networking in Essex or London for a month. I would never have gained the people. I wouldn't have spoken to you. I wouldn't have got on with you. As soon as I start talking to you, I feel we're on a similar wavelength. And I've found that a lot through doing this. So listen, it's a good thing. There's a lot of positive to come from all of this.
Yeah, and I think what it's allowing people to do, it's allowing people to look at things in a different way. So, people being grateful for small things. I'm all about teaching gratitude. Gratitude is so important because, again, there's a lot of research on this, and because most of our thoughts are negative, we thrive off negativity. I don't watch the news. I find out all the information generally off kind of Facebook or friends or whatnot. But I turn the news on sometimes by accident, and I'm feeling depressed after 5 minutes.
Oh yeah,
because all this is going on at the moment.
Ago. Yeah.
So it's, and that's one of the advice I always give. Just really, really limit your time on the news, limit your time with social media. Be really, 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 really mindful of that. And I think, getting back to the whole gratitude piece, people are being, really grateful for small things that they took completely took for granted before. Yeah. And what we do when we're in gratitude, it just totally changes. It rewires the brain, because the brain is, we're primed to survive. We're living by the hormones of stress most of the time, especially, given what's going on at the moment. And, we're obviously primed to survive. We're here to survival, and all this is happening. And so it's really important just to focus on gratitude. And I think this is creating a lot more of that as well.
Yeah.
I'm all for very much talking to clients about keeping a gratitude journal at night before they go to bed, and just really focusing on, even if it's just 5, 10 things, 10 positive things that have happened throughout the course of the day.
Yeah.
Even if it's just something really little, and it's really, really important to do that, because you just rewind that whole brain process rather than just focusing on the negative, which we tend to do, especially in times like this where it's feeling so uncertain, and there's so many anxieties around that. It's really important, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that the gratitude journal is a great place to end this. Although I could talk to you for ages, but end this podcast and sort of bring it to a whole. I've really enjoyed talking to you. There's loads that I've taken from what you've spoken about, and I think there's a huge amount of value in that for other people as well. Where can everybody find you, Janine?
So my company is Change for Success, so people can find me online, www.changeforsuccess.co.uk. I'm very active on LinkedIn. We're obviously connected on there as well, aren't we? So
yes, and you've been making comments today. Thank you very much. Really appreciate
course.
That.
Did a post regarding this, which is always good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I'm over on Instagram and Twitter as well, all under Twitter and Facebook, all under my company name, Change for Success. So that's where people can find me.
Okay, good. Well, I'll make sure that when we do the post that it's we put links there for people to find you as well. And of course, you'll share this across your sort of social media for us as well, won't you?
Of course, yeah.
You already started before you even came on.
My lovely LinkedIn followers, I do a lot on LinkedIn, so we'll be putting some posts out on there. That'll be.
Yeah, I definitely need to leverage the LinkedIn a bit more. We're going to be pushing a lot more information.
I can always help you. I'll show you how to do it.
Yeah. We'll have a chat. We'll have a chat about that for sure.
Yeah.
Listen, I've really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
No problem at all. So it's Janine Mitchell there from Change for Success, and some great stuff to be taken from that. Yet again, I feel enriched with more information, and also added somebody else that I definitely class as part of the new community we're creating as well. So then for the new world and the new normal. Thanks again, Janine. Really appreciate it. If you want to know more about what we do here in Essex Business Radio, then please go and check out our website, www.essexbusinessradio.com. It's a bit of an information site. It's a magazine site. We've set it up in the last month. You can find loads of current articles and things and what's going on. They're positive things. It's not all negative. It's all good. And also you can find all the links to our social media, but also you can download our free app where you can hear all the old and new podcasts. Thanks again, Janine. Really appreciate it. I'm going to sign off for now. So it's ciao for now. Brown cow.
Bye.